back to my YouTube channel. I am Susan, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today's video is a bit different. It's not really structured. I just felt like filming and talking to the camera, and I think I'm going to title it Reflections of an Immigrant. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about like my experience as an immigrant in terms of like my feelings, my like things that I think about that I feel other immigrant people think about, but yeah, all of this was prompted from a conversation I had with a friend yesterday, because he mentioned when he was watching my job testimony video about how I said I don't want to live, or like I couldn't live in Kenya, but I was willing I was willing to live somewhere I've never been before. And yeah, it is quite like an interesting conundrum in the sense that our parents moved away from these places, our home countries, and they themselves don't really express like a burning desire to return. And I feel that trickles down to us, the children. Sorry, I'm drinking some vitamin C water. I feel like it trickles down to us, the children, and that's where my sentiment stems from, because my parents have encouraged me in the sense that I can live anywhere. They equip me in life in that way, because they sent me away to boarding school when I was 12, 13, and ever since I left there, I haven't really returned home full time. Home is just a visiting place for me. So I do believe I can live anywhere. And exhibit A, I'm living in Ireland, and I'd never visited here before. I didn't know anything about like the climate. Like honestly, I had not done my research about this country until it became a viable option for me to move to. So yeah, guys, it's such an interesting experience being an immigrant. And I think what makes my experience more interesting is the fact that I was an immigrant in another African country, and I was not an African immigrant in the West. So I still experienced being African, but in other African cultures that are similar to mine in some ways and different in others. And it's just this whole conundrum I even wrote about in a blog article I have on my blog. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a blog that I started when I was 17, and I spoke there about Diaspora, Detachment, where you have this sense of belonging to your community. Like, I'm Kenyan. I have my definition of what it means to be Kenyan, being brought up in this diaspora Kenyan community in Botswana, but it's not the definition that like someone in Kenya who was raised there and grew up there holds of what being Kenyan means to them. And at the same time, I still feel like I'm in Botswana to an extent, because Botswana is my home. I know that country like the back of my hand. Like when I go to Gaborone, those are my streets. Like I'm so comfortable driving there, taking public transport. I know where everything is. I have all these places that I remember, like, oh, I did this when I was a kid. I did this there when I was a kid. And at the same time, South Africa is still my home. Like I still feel South African. And in this conversation with this friend, shout out to him, actually I'll dedicate this video to him, but in this conversation we had, I spoke about how where I work there are a lot of South Africans, and he asked me if I count myself when I'm counting the South Africans, and I was like, I'm inclined to do so because I lived there for 12 years, and at the same time, but my passport doesn't reflect that. All I have to show for all I have to show for my experiences in Southern Africa are my expired residency permits, and in South Africa my expired study permits and my expired critical skills work visa. And it's a sobering reality to think that you can live in places for a certain amount of time and you have like no physical tether to those locations. And maybe I'm putting in too much weight in physical attachment because, but like I still consider Botswana my home because my parents live there. Like they live in their house there, you know. South Africa is still my home because both my siblings live there and my friends live there, and it's such an interesting conundrum that is home. When I say home, I mean Southern Africa. I mean Botswana and South Africa. And now, after spending 4 months in Kenya, I mean Kenya as well. And I'm left with this feeling that wherever I am, I'm constantly missing out on something. So even when I was in Kenya, I felt like I'm missing out on my friends' lives in South Africa. When I've been away from home, I feel like I'm missing out on my parents' lives. Although, like, no offense to my parents, but I've been missing out on their lives for like quite a while now. So it doesn't feel the same. Like I'm used to it I think I'm used to it. But with regards to my friends, how everything unfolded in the last year, I never imagined that I would be missing out on their lives and like all these big life events they're going through that I would love to be a part of in real time. But all we have are video chats, voice notes, voice calls, and the occasional catch-up conversation on WhatsApp. And it's so sobering to think about. Like, and these I guess this is like my emotional reflections of being an immigrant, just constantly missing people. I think I'm an expert at long distance friendships because all my best friends are like scattered around the world, and to some people it feels like a big flex, but it's hard missing people all the time, you know. I literally have one bestie. We've been besties for almost 10 years, and I've only hung out with that man twice in my life, like and we even lived in the same country. So but we were broke students, so we couldn't even see each other like that. So yeah, the whole purpose of this video is, I guess, just showing the reality behind what seems to be a glamorous life is a life filled with missing people and constantly feeling like you're missing out. I even miss my parents' dogs, guys. Like, I miss the dogs, man. They're so cute. I love them so much. But yeah, and I can't be around them all the time. I just have to accept that that's my life, and it's something that I pray about, and I just ask God, like, why, you know. And more so, I wonder how come my life is on this path. And I was reading this book by some financial advisor here in Ireland, and he mentioned how like people want money to spend on experiences with the ones that they love. I'm like, and that's so true, because like when I think about all these like big things I want to do with my life, it always ties back to being around the people that I love or doing it with the people that I love. So yeah, that's me on reflections of being an immigrant. It is great to be here in Europe, so centrally located to all these strategic vacation spots, but at the same time it also makes you really ask yourself, like, what truly and really matters to me, because I can be here with the job and the life that, you know, people look at me and desire for themselves, but also what do I desire for my own life and what do I desire for myself. So yeah, that's just me. Reflections of being an immigrant, being a third culture kid, being multicultural, being a diaspora, a confused diaspora, because I don't even know which diaspora group I should be a part of, guys. Like, should I join the South African group? Should I be with the Kenyans? I don't even, some of the Swahili guys, like, still learning my Swahili. My South African languages are also like not up to standard either. So please tell me, let me know in the comments, which diaspora group do you think I should be interacting with? But honestly speaking, I'm open to interacting with everyone. I view my very unique life experience as an opportunity for me to just broaden my horizons, broaden my network, broaden my understanding of other people's culture as well, because in as much as I've lived in Botswana, in South Africa, and my small time in Kenya, I still do not even know or understand the extent of like the cultures in those countries, because we are so diverse. Even in these little countries, there's so many different things. So yeah, let me know in the comments whether you relate to my experience. If you're an African immigrant living abroad, do you also miss your friends and family? Do you also have this constant feeling that you're missing out? And yeah, we can talk about it and support each other, and maybe just accept the fact that it's a feeling that will never go away, and learn to live with it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. I don't know what it will be about, but tell me if you like these little chit chat sessions, unstructured conversations, and I'll do more of them. Bye.